love the way we sound, the way we review, so turn up your sound, cause here comes the most badass talent to review
Central Game Reviews.
That's what we do when we start. We review games whether they're good or not. From the graphics to gameplay, beginning with a plot. Nothing will stop us from reaching the top. 500 subs in less than 3 days. These motherfucking idiots thinking it's just a phase. We suffer through damnation and even haze, but we come through cause we here to stay.
Okay, so the story of Marvel basically takes two separate arcs from the comic storyline. You had the Secret War, that's what you start off with, and that eventually leads into the Civil War. And if you like the comics and you read them, you'll follow that exact storyline throughout. And then you have a third act, which is basically made up by the company, and it's something to do with nano knights or whatever, I don't know, something taking over villains and humans, and I don't know. And it's not as good. Especially in terms of like character driven. Civil War is obviously the best part of the game because basically you choose a side, either Captain America or Iron Man. And I think the game does a good job of explaining each side, and especially which side you choose, you get a better understanding of why they're doing that. So overall, I enjoyed the first two arcs a lot. The third arc not as much because it just felt like another superhero adventure. But overall, I enjoyed the story.
I would have to agree with Whitey, and I also would like to add that the voice acting in this game isn't actually too bad. It's very similar to the first. Everybody has their authentic voice, like Wolverine with his husky, Captain America with his all hero voice, Tony Stark sounds like a bitch, and Spider-Man with his wisecrack voice. But overall, it was a great story, and I'm glad that they followed it from the comic.
I'm not a big follower of comics, and I've heard about the Civil War stuff going on. But overall, I can basically say the game story did to me what most games or good games should do, is it just wanted me to progress and play till the end. So did a good job. Alright, so for the graphics are, they're very similar in style to the first game, except they look like they've been, spruced up a bit. I can say that the characters kind of look a little bit, I don't know, plasticky, but I mean, overall, the characters look good, and the environments are really nice, and I like how there's just so much destructible stuff and debris flying around. There is alternate costumes for the characters, although I didn't really particularly like those alternate costumes for a lot of them. But I mean, overall, the graphics are suitable. The camera's still kind of tilted up and above, though at times it'll turn down and go sideways or get more cinematic than in the previous games. So I like that addition. But overall, I thought the graphics were nice.
And I like the special attacks, like the fusions. They look nice. They're colorful, they're vibrant and colorful and nice. The environments, they look decent, I guess. But you know, the character models in game, I didn't think looked that great. Some of the animations were kind of weird looking, but I like the fusions themselves. The graphics were decent. That's it.
I thought the cinemas in this game were a step down from the first game, but at the same time they were more consistent throughout the game, and this game is more story driven than the first, so I did like that you got more cinemas, but in the end I wish there were some like really good ones like the first game.
Yeah, it had choppy frame rate. Bad at times, like where there's too much stuff going on and the frame rate just comes to a crawl.
Oh wow, I didn't have any of that.
Yeah, I didn't have any frame rate.
I mean, there was explosions going on. There was explosions going on. There was like debris flying everywhere, and there was enemies flying everywhere. And it's just like, it's not like it went to a slideshow or anything, but it basically came down to being like, you definitely see the frame rate took a big hit.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's weird.
But it's just something worth mentioning in case, because maybe I'm not going to be the only one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, some discs have slowed down, and some don't, I guess.
So Injury 2, the gameplay, it pretty much mirrors the first Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It's pretty much just all redundant button mashing. You can go into fusion powers with other characters, but I think somebody else is going to go into that. You have the light attacks, you have the heavy attacks, you can jump around. Some characters can fly. Yeah, you can block in the game, which is almost not needed. Yeah, and then you can have 4-player co-op, which I think was the same as the first one.
Did you like it? Was it better than the first?
I mean, like I said, it's all the same, except for the fusion powers that were cool, until I realized that they were all redundant as well. I was a little bit disappointed after playing it for a few hours.
Okay, well, I guess I'll talk about the gameplay real fast. I really like the fusion power idea. Using your co-op partner or AI, you can both click the special button and basically you use your powers together. So an example would be like Wolverine putting up his claws and then Iron Man shooting it off of it, or Spider-Man webbing everybody together and Iron Man shooting like a huge Kamehameha wave looking thing and killing them all. So I really like that you get all these different fusions for all these different characters and can combine every superhero or villain together to do them, so it's not just separated by certain heroes. So fusion was the best addition in my opinion. The general gameplay was fine. I mean, it does get a little boring at times, but I think playing with friends definitely keeps it fresh, and overall, I played it enough to like it the first time, and I'm still enjoying it on my second playthrough.
I really enjoyed this a lot more than the first. I did play the first. I put a lot of hours in the first. But I did enjoy this a lot more only because it was a more improved version. But like they said, it has the same concept, but it is improved with fusions, power attacks, which I think are better. I think, 4-player co-op. And so overall, just a better package.
So the gameplay for me, with any game that's in this genre, yeah, they do grow a bit boring or repetitive, but that's just the nature of the beast. The fun is playing with your friends, and again, this game excels at that. The 4-playerness is just always awesome, just like any other game. I'm going through it my second time as well on Legendary, and I'm actually doing that currently as I'm talking. And I just think overall the gameplay's a lot of fun. It is a beat 'em up type hack and slash. Now I do think that from the first one they've kind of streamlined it a bit. It's not as in depth, I think, RPG like, just because there's not like the armor or whatever you could equip on the other games. They kind of made it more streamlined and more easier and more faster paced. And I think because of that, I enjoy the second one more than I did the first. And I think it's easier for people to pick up and play and come back to.
It was fun. The fusions were cool. All that shit. I didn't play the 4-player co-op, so I wouldn't really know. The only thing that I could see that might be fun is doing the fusions with some random person you don't know, because you could be Deadpool, you could be some mother fag, and he goes, "Hey, who's Deadpool? Come over here, homo, let's do a fusion." And then you do the fusion, and you're like, "Awesome, alright, high five." Okay, so I liked it. It was fun. It got a little repetitive, but it ended right when it was like I was about to fucking kill myself because it got really boring for a little while.
So we all agree that it was fun, but it gets a little repetitive after a while.
Overall, I think my enjoyment from Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 was much an improvement over the first. Basically, it's just I had a lot of fun for this, and I really thought it was worth the $60. Kind of a better list of characters, which that's one thing we did not mention. Some of the characters do not return from the first game, and it's kind of a disappointment. Because there was others that I would like to see in this, and they actually kept some of the shitty ones in this. But, what are you going to do? But anyway, the fusions were cool. The gameplay's awesome. Bosses were pretty fun to fight. 4-player co-ops, a blast to play with your friends. And overall, it was a real improvement from the first, and I definitely think it's worth the $60.
Enjoyed it also. Even though I don't think it's worth $60, I still think it's a very fun game. If you could find it to rent, if you never played the first one, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Same shit. But if you could find it to rent, definitely rent it. It's fun, but I definitely play better beat 'em ups this year.
Well, for me, the game took about 3 days. I would say separate, that would be like maybe 3 hours a day, so 9 hours. So overall, I thought the length was pretty good, especially for a game that you definitely would go back to after a few months or whatever, and replay. And you want to go online with a bunch of friends. I'm sure you all enjoy it, especially if you like the heroes in the game and, doing all the fusions together. So overall, in my opinion, it's definitely worth the money, and I had a good time playing it.
Alright, so for me, there's a few things I always want in sequels to games. I usually want them to look better. Usually want them to play a little bit better. Usually want, just to just see an overall increase in production value. And I can say that I think Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 pretty much did that with the second one. I think it's a little bit better in every way from the first. Aside from, there's a few glitches here and there, and the frame rate issue when trying to play 4-player. But aside from that, I think it's totally worth the money. It's got a decent length, and it's very replayable, and many reasons to replay it with all the different characters. So overall, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Okay. Yeah, I pretty much enjoyed the game. besides the little glitches, because I didn't have the lag frame rate issues that Justin had. I had the auto spin glitch where no matter how many times I tried to turn that damn thing off, it'd still come back on. I thought the game was a little short, but other than that, it was pretty repetitive, but the fusion powers were pretty well done, and the boss fights I thought were pretty good. They weren't as boring as just smacking around some other enemies. But other than that, yeah, I thought the game was good.
If you're a fan of the first one, you definitely should try it out. If not, buy it.
Keep us moving, son, if you want to stay conscious.